All right, what's up everybody? Today on In the Making, we're talking about our song Finally Found that was just released on Jade City Records. Let's take a look. All right, this is the first version of this. There's a few different versions. I think there's about 3. I didn't stick with this, but I figured I would show off how this started. All right, here we go.
Every time I think that I don't need you, I try to make it, but it all keeps falling apart. Every time I think that I might break through, you keep pulling me back. I don't wanna let go, I know that I need somebody like you. I really need someone like you. I finally found it, I'm on higher ground. And when I look down, I see the world and it's better now. You're the only thing that matters, you're the one I want. We're flying now. I finally found someone like you.
Okay, I was trying to hit that drop super hard. Okay, so this version has way more in it, so I'll just play it out. I can't remember exactly right now how much of this stayed in the final, but I was getting a lot closer to an idea. But it's still different from the one that it actually ended up being.
Every time I think that I don't need you, I try to make it, but it all keeps falling apart. Every time I think that I might break through, you keep pulling me back. I don't wanna let go, I know that I need somebody like you. I really need someone like you. I finally found it, I'm on higher ground. And when I look down, I see the world and it's better now. You're the only thing that matters, you're the one I want. We're flying now. I finally found someone like you.
That stayed.
Every time I think that I don't need you, I try to make it, but it all keeps falling apart. Every time I think that I might break through, you keep pulling me back.
It was cool. I liked the energy of it. It wasn't emotional enough for me. Like it was really hard for me to leave this drop right here. I just like the 4 on the floor-ness of it, which I do revisit the 4 on the floor thing in the final. I'm trying to think. I kept this thing. Like it changed a little bit for the final, but it's essentially the same idea. All right, so this is the third final version. I'll just basically go through it in sections.
Every time I think that
So basically the whole hook for this version got discovered when I decided to completely reimagine this. The only thing I had at the time, those temp vocals, basically I just put this verse on repeat.
every time I think that I don't need you,
I just had that loaded up these chords.
every time I think that I don't need you, I try to make it, but it all keeps falling apart.
So it's just me playing chords, and it's just Serum. If you go to the singles analog saw, I believe that's what this is, the analog saw, and like, yeah, just slow opening LFO. Like super basic. So I was just doing that like over and over and over and over and over again, like sitting there for a while. I started like hearing like a little melody in my head every time it got to these little vocal answers here. And I was like, oh, I'm like hearing a melody, and I loaded in one of my plucks, which is this preset plucking awesome. It's so basic. It's just a sine wave with a filter. It's got some effects on here.
I don't wanna let.
And I just felt like it just fit that vocal line so well. So like that whole hook that's throughout the whole song basically started with this right here, and then I just keep repeating that over and over and over again everywhere else. I also do it in this little noodly lead, and this is just a sine wave, super duper simple. It's got some glide on it and just some delay, some reverb. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then I start off the song that way. In atmosphere. Just filter slowly opening up. Chimes into the machine. He's got like this really cool effects riser. It's just heavily filtered. A reverse wine glass sound. And then I got this little watery glitch. This is from, I believe that's from Minimal Audio, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not from Minimal Audio, it's probably from Glitch Machines. Yeah, this little vocal hook thing, those are also from Ghost Hack. Yeah, got those like years ago. I just stuck this endless reverb that's in Reactor 6. It's one of the factory effects actually. Throw on endless, you can mess around with like the reverb time. Basically it became like a pad layer.
Every time I think that I don't need you, I try to make it, but it all keeps falling apart. Every time I think that I might break through, you keep pulling me back. I don't wanna let go. I know that I need somebody like. I really need someone like you. I found it.
Okay, so the other stuff that's in here, simple beat. This is just a soft kick from my Swim Bass Essentials pack. Disperser, saturator, and overdrive. If you throw these on, like really messes it up, and then just muffle the heck out of it with EQ. Hard clipper, you guys will probably see the hard clip on a lot of stuff because it's actually in my kick and snare. Newfangle, saturate in with these settings. and then I just dial it into taste. Sometimes like little simple beats like that for these verse breakdowns and stuff like that, I find super advantageous. Got this cool fill that I made, which is a combination of chime tom fill and a KJ Saka time fill. Yeah, I rendered them out together, and then I threw on Redux, used Melda's wave shaper. It's kind of hard to hear, but kind of makes it a little bit more powerful. Oh, I think that's only being used sometimes. I'm not exactly sure when I'm using that. And then EQ, hi-hats. I'm layering it with some pink noise. So what this is pink noise that I exported out of Isotope RX with -20 RMS, and then I just like literally just cut out a super small sliver of it, threw on an arpeggiator, and made a rhythm out of it. I don't think the LFO thing's being used. Oh, it is being used to control the transposition here. Yeah, got some chimes in here from A5, from his Was It You song. Oh yeah, this tonal impact thing. It's just like a little tonal hit, auto pitch, format shifting going on here. Kind of makes it a little gritty towards the top there, reverb. That's really where it totally changes.
That I need some.
It's kind of hard to hear, but it's definitely there. That is basically just this. Okay, bass in this section actually only comes through in the second half of this. This is just Serum. I think this is a resampled saw wave where I used some kind of like squarify or something like that, where I'm like removing, you know, these bends every so often. Can't remember exactly what I did. Then I'm using the sub on this. This is for the attack, and this is just another filter that I'm using for the beginning of it. If you turn it off, really gives us some character, but it also comes in handy later on when we get to the next section. I think that's pretty much it, except for this like last little bass fill that happens at the end of this.
I really need someone like you. I finally found.
Yeah, this basically what this is from I think this is from a Bilegal Beats pack, if I remember correctly. Yeah, like a bunch of like the Zen basses. Kind of like a little tape stop effect or something. Comb filter, just with this attester. I'm not even gonna try to say that word. It's layered with some of this stuff that's happening in the drums. Yeah, this like wet thing. If you add a phaser to it, it just completely like messes it up, which is what I wanted. I didn't want like super duper clean snare, so it's just from this rotary preset in Melda, and then reverb. And then yeah, OTT, just to kind of glue it together.
You, I finally found you. I finally found.
This is from the Mechanicals, the Boom Mechanicals library. Just a random kick. Yeah, this reverse snare. That's it.
Really need someone like you. I finally found. I finally found it. I'm on higher ground, and when I look down, I see the world and it's better now. You're the only thing that matters. You're the one I want. We're flying now. I finally found someone like you.
Okay, so for the build here, this is where we start bringing in chords. These are just saws. These are just saws in wavetable noise unison mode, just taming the mid-range like quite a bit. And I threw on some reverb that I seem to be automating. Pigments. This preset, I'm not even gonna try to say that. I turned off the effects. It's super simple. You could probably make that in Serum in like 2 seconds if you want to. Yeah, I was just kind of like messing around with layers here. I just wanted to see what sounded different and unique. Yeah, so these triangle waves are just kind of handling like the warm stuff. These are also noise unison, pretty basic, just taming it up again. This is just layered. So you can see the 3 layers up here at the top, synth, sample, and X sub. You can hear that like goom, goom. It's just got distortion, compressor. That's pretty much all it is. 3-band crossover, you got dimension expander, overdrive.
I finally found.
These little bass pockets are doing a lot of work actually. So by themselves, this is just from a bass jam. Yeah, originally it sounds like this. Cutting it up. And then like some filter movement. But that's all it is. And then I layered it with glitches. Yeah, same thing. This is from a different bass jam, except this time on the top part of the sub, I'm throwing on outputs movement, and it's just playing this Rage Nights preset. That's pretty much all there is to it. And then I'm just kind of spicing it up with Unfiltered Audio's Basement, which is like a saturation plugin. This thing. It's actually one of my favorite sounds. It's very simple too. Just throw on the bandpass filter, distortion, compression, filter. Like mirrored bandpass.
And it's better now. You're the only thing.
There are these little things called shimmer by itself. Yeah, just cool. I think I just reversed it pretty much. Warp it, pitch it down, 9 semitones, auto pitch again, performance shifting, frequency shifter and melda, throwing on freeform phase to make it even more bubbly. You can come in here, and the pencil, you can actually like affect the phase rotations of some of the frequencies. Throwing on redux. More chime stuff from Atoms to Pickles. Pixels. He has this synth grand chime thing. I also reversed this and did some like filter movement.
I'm on higher ground, and when I look down.
There's like some little embellishments from the melody. Yeah, just stuff to kind of like help move it forward. Started adding some cymbals.
I see the world.
I got some more of the mechanicals boom stuff, so together.
And when I look down.
I think I did this because the snare is on the 4. We got the soft kick again, except this time I have this big snap layer. Yeah, so this little build here, I got this snare riser. I think this is a snare from, yeah, this is also from Native Instruments, from the Velvet Lounge library. I did throw on some saturation, looks like OTT, and then I'm layering it with this Virtual Riot snare. The arpeggiator is using like that velocity mode, so like not every hit is the same because the notes are just. Picked that one up from 85. I thought that was a really cool. That's a really nice little strategy there. I have this bass drop. This is just operator. It's in the frequency modulation mode, I believe. We got those bass stabs I mentioned from before. And we got some new chords here. Let me actually solo the bass and the chords so you guys can hear. So for the fill here, I'm just hitting a part of that chime KJ Saka fill.
I finally found someone like you.
So I like this idea that like every single tom hit was like a slightly different timbre. So I basically took the same idea I had with combining chime and KJ together, and I did the same thing with a bunch of other samples. The resampled version ended up like this. That that was the fill that I combined together. But basically what's going on is Black Box saturating the heck out of it in different ways that I see fit, and then I just got 40% mix. I'm mixing it with this Firemaster plugin. Same concept, more saturation and enhancement. This is really just to taste. And then I'm just squashing the heck out of it with multi-band dynamics. I like to do that with fills a lot.
Someone like you.
All right, so the moment everybody's been waiting for, the drop. Yeah, that's pretty much all it is, over and over and over again. So the heavy kick, this is like a chime kick that I just love so much. Threw on some disperser, threw on saturator. I just played around with the hard clipper. I turned the input gain down quite a bit, and then I just drove the driver on the hard clipper super hard. Yeah, punchy, super punchy. I like it. Yeah, definitely clean, but it doesn't have like it doesn't have all that like kind of that mid girthy dirt that I wanted. The snare, yeah, this AU5's Was It You snare, I just love like this short little wall of noise that happens in the attack. Snare that I made turned down quite a bit because I wanted the wah wah sound from it, and combine these two together, which is nice, but I kind of felt like it was missing something more of that like low girth, so I threw in another chime drum sample. Chime drum samples are just, you guys, they're super good. All three together, frequency shifted them all down. It's super subtle, but I like it. More saturator and hard clipping. That's pretty much all that is. These reverse kicks and that snare thing from before, that actually does a lot. Super duper important, super important to have, and I'm using it a lot, pretty much on every chord stab. Yeah, just lots of reverse mixture crashes. More of the fill. I wanted the drums to be a little bit simpler because I wanted the emphasis to be on like the big chord stacks. These vocals, a vocal stem from Ghost Tack that I got several years ago. I cut up the chorus part where she's singing Nectar 4 in the voice mode for the harmonies. But if you turn on the happy, if you think about it, that's kind of like a little bit of a chord stack by itself. DJ swivels the sauce on here. Some kind of halfway pitch shifter. I just thought it was interesting. It was being pitched up an octave and mixed halfway in. This is something I did when I already had the stacked output thermal going on here. Yeah, don't know why that's there either. Maybe I must have ended up keeping it. And then there's reverb. Native Instruments ROM. My favorite reverb plugin, by the way. And OTT. I'm really cranking that a lot. Filtering. I guess it's pretty aggressive. I resampled it out. Dimension expander on here. So listen to it in the stack. I don't know. I just liked it. It was different. I was like, I didn't want to do the synth thing. I wanted to do something with like vocals or something like that. The big one here is Dune 3, doing all the heavy lifting. It's like my Space Jam chords. Yeah, this is just the Mickey Mouse preset. I modified it. Yeah, it's pretty basic. If you remember, these are the chords from here. Yeah, just these saws. It's like a little better for the short stuff, not as much for the long stuff. I just liked it as an attack layer from before the pigments. The Spirit Lead preset that I learned how to make in School of Bass added. So if you turn off what I added, it sounds like this. which is basically just noise modulated saw waves, nothing crazy. But then I added this wave table back in, and this is another saw that is tuned down a third with the scale mode on classic unison. It's just adding like that super high thing that you hear. So if you turn it off, just kind of gives it that little extra brightness. And then I just threw some reverb on here and some chorusing. So what the bass is Razor. This particular time I did separate out the bass into a clean sub. Is just a Razor patch that I built. The way I'm getting that that kind of squelchy fall in the beginning is from the filters. Bandpass filter. Yeah, combo peak. I'm doing some crazy stuff here too, so let me turn this off. Yeah, so the buzziness is coming from the amp. You could probably make like a cool blaster with that. I can hear some really cool harmonics in there. And then erosion. I think that was just me trying to like noise shape and stuff like that. Auto pan only happens on certain times. Some more basement. I think I was trying to like really push like low mid harmonics and stuff like that. Melda stereo expander to the sub that I mentioned from earlier. I got sine, sine, sine. I'm just adjusting these oscillators to taste together. Yeah, some OTT, multi-band saturator, Spectre's like my favorite multi-band saturator plugin. It's amazing. I'm not going to go into all of it. The stack turned out great. Yeah, so this thing is also Razor. This time it's not being modulated or anything. It's just it's pretty static, and it's playing the it's playing the hook from the beginning. Same thing, right? So all the leads together. So what we have is the noodly thing from before. We have that's the pluck from before as well, and then I started adding stuff in here. So this is the first time you hear like a guitar. Surprisingly, actually just wavetable with a warped saw. Oh yeah, you can kind of see it moving right there. Gives it some, like vowel and like timbre characteristics and stuff like that. A lot of the power is actually coming from Guitar Rig 6. Yeah. It's pretty lifeless. It's mostly just the soft tube compressor that's being used in there. It's so powerful. Yeah, tone 2 acoustics. Yeah, just really cranking the tone. If you turn it off, yeah, you lose a lot of character. So basically, it dialed a little bit of the noise reduction in because of how noisy it was. And then I got Neoverb on here. Yeah, it's just doing a lot. Some OTT and finally some soothe. Layering that with the harmony. This is just a triangle wave. Yeah, I use it a lot. It's just nice. Bells. I think this is actually the first time it happens. So it has Pure Noir. You can get some cool. That's actually really sick. I got this in here. Then I'm throwing Signal on here. On muted guitar and sine pluck all together. Just a nice, like, washy, crazy layer that's up there. Yep, and then it repeats again. Just plays something different. These little bass fills. Let's talk about these, and let's also talk about the start of it. Yeah, so this thing. Okay, I was looking this up earlier because I was trying to figure out like how I made this. I was like, how did I make this? I don't remember where the start of this was, but this is the very, very first sound. If I turn off everything, you kind of get this thing. Now, I think I made this in Vinyl, but I can't remember exactly how I made it. But it's made with a wavetable that I created, like a colorful wavetable. I'll actually just pull up Vinyl. I think it's one of these. I think it's this wavetable, color lock disperse. And the reason why it's so colorful is because this is actually like a resampled color basey, like some kind of like convolution or something that I did to a wave, and I re-imported it in. I think this is what this is from, but that's my hunch. That is this start point, and I just made like a little stab for the top end here of it. Morph that little like spectral compression thing on main input mode. So basically just getting it to like morph with itself just kind of expands the harmonics in a really interesting way. A frequency shifter, and I slightly shifted it down to make it a little more bubbly and wobbly. Some more Melda stuff for the convolution. Okay, this is from a synth jam that I did. Sounds like this. I'm automating the format shift. OTT, some more Firemaster, some frequency shifting, yeah, whoa, and took them to the next level. This is just from the Making Melodies Volume 1 sample pack, the Moon Vision. I think it sounds like this. But if you throw on the frequency shifter, you get this cool movement out of it.
One like you.
Yeah, I just like that first little hit. This is like the virtual messy glitch he has, and then more of the bilingual beat stuff. So those two combined. Some Kuro sounds coming in here. Something else from my Swim Bass Essentials pack. It's this like fuzz raft thing. Yeah, messy, colorful fill thing. The next one I made in Pendulate. This is like a newer synth. It basically is like a glorified sine wave oscillator generator that you can just mangle and go crazy with. It's based off of some kind of like double pendulum thing. Yeah, so I'm modulating the frequency down with the resonance turned all the way up. Because if not, it just kind of acts like a, like a low pass filter. Yeah, just got that. A little energized thing. That's pretty much all of them. I'm just like basically doing the same thing over again, just like slightly different variations. That's actually from my song Avalanche. It just sounded so cool. It was like a little So congratulations, Miyoki, you have made it into this song.
Really found someone like you.
Turnaround stuff's all pretty much the same stuff you guys have seen before, except now I'm adding this big impact. Yes, this is from Awaken. More Awaken samples. Pretty cool. I have Track Spacer on here. Yeah, Track Spacer is dodging out of the way for a new bass that I have coming in. Yes, from this. The wave itself, I have no idea. I don't remember how I made this, but it looks like maybe a saw with, maybe I did like squarify on a saw again and then removed like the fundamental and like the next partials. I used triangle wave sub, a little bit of hyper on retrigger. Filter opening up. Yeah, I think I just wanted a new bass. Some ad-lib vocals from Tyler, and then I have this thing. And then we're going into verse 2.
In the moments when I lose composure, you're the one that puts the pieces back into place. Now I know if I could do it all over, I would do it again. Oh.
Yep, that new pulse bass that I made. Okay, the little noodly thing. Right, piano colors. The phrase I just showed you. And then I got this like perk sound. Another soft rhythm. Adding these perks on the 4 as well. So yeah. Okay, so the only other new thing is this atmosphere in the effects section. It's got some phasing action going on with U-Big P. Just like U-Big P is so good for making things like otherworldly and trippy. This is from my Making Melodies Volume 1 sample pack as well. Okay, and then I got this like little turnaround section, which is basically just another build. Yeah, that goes into the bridge.
Someone like you.
I added this new Atmos. Just got that from Splice. Another bass drop here. ARP thing that I never ever used ever again, but this is from Rounds. This is Native Instruments Rounds. Families of oscillators. Map all of these oscillators out onto like a board, and if you have like an arpeggiator or something, it'll move through them. That was it. This just ended up being a layer. Yeah. Man, I'm telling you guys, like triangle waves with like unison detuning and a little bit of warp. Just I'm like mad at how good that sounds. Okay, and then I took basses from the next section and just built like a little pre-build thing with bandpass filter. I do this all the time. Such a great way to set up these sections where it's just like completely different. Virtual right clap with a little bit of shifting goes into the bridge.
I finally found it. Finally found it. I finally found somebody like you, yeah. I finally found somebody like you, yeah.
Most of the bass, actually simpler than it looks, is just a resample of drop 1. This resample part of the drop 1 sounds by itself without anything. Yeah, so it's just the basis from the first drop, probably like a slightly older version of it, into like a... Yeah, into the part from the old version, that 4 on the floor part that I love so much. I sampled that into here too before I had deleted it. Pitch map. That FMT gamma up quite a bit. And it's like really interesting. Added some reverb, but I'm automating the dry wet, so it's only on some parts. Yeah, it's just interesting. And then you get this kind of thing. And then I start doing filtering. Yeah, that's right. Those things mix together. And then I started layering like the individual phrases. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers for this bass. So I'll solo these layers. This one is from Bass Jam. It's just this with a little bit of OTT. This is another sound from the Swim Bass Essentials pack. This one is from Making Melodies Volume 1 again. I am using the M transformer. It will actually transform frequencies from one frequency to another, but I'm actually using the spectral envelope with just a static amount of general format shifting. So I did format shift the whole thing up, but with the spectral envelope, you can non-transformingly altering the format envelope inside of the spectrum. It's a very nuanced, specific setting. Change like the timbre of like tones that you don't really like, especially like more melodic sounds like this, where like the vowel isn't favorable. Like, so like if I turn this off, it kind of had that thing, and I think as a layer it wasn't something that I like. See, like that's quite different than, I mean, like they're both good. It's just this one was a little bit more edgy. Yeah, so things to think about, like when you're making layers, you can use plugins like that to kind of like change the micro vowels. I don't know what you call them. Some Candy Crush samples that I re-sampled. I was playing Candy Crush on my phone one day. This. Yeah, just some like sounds I made in a Candy Crush jam. That's what CCJ is. Serum effects. You know, the whole like the cool like static chorus effect that we like so much. This is like to filter it. Yeah, just doing cool stuff. What is this? We got more Candy Crush. Sugary candy type thing. There you go, Candy Crush made it into the song. Together, these. Yeah, I was kind of mix and matching. Yeah. This is also from a bass jam. Yeah, that's what that's from. Acoustics on the top again. Dynamic EQ this time. I forget where I found out about this, but it is super cool. So if you double click the frequency of a band, you can pick the specific note. I picked G sharp because of the G sharp minor. And then the really great thing is when you click this, all of the band settings for this one band. What's really, really, really cool is they have this feature right here where you can shift all of the harmonic bands that you added to the fundamental, and you can basically choose where they go, and then you can choose how many of those like additional harmonic bands get added to the signal. You can get super crazy with it. Like you can add more, you can add more, you can add more, because you can set the key of them. You can also create like your own, like you create your own resonators that are like dynamic. It's really cool. I was just trying to like think outside the box, like do different stuff. Got some more basement going on, OTT, some soothe. There's like a non-chord like note in here that happens that I really like. Where it kind of gets a little jazzy. Yeah, it goes from like the G sharp to the G. So it's literally just like modulating that 6 down a half step. This is from before. I'm just using it again. This time I am doubling it with these two guys here. This one. This is from Spice. Threw on some chorus. Kind of wanted it to be messy and weird. Doubled it with this guy. I was like imagining some sort of like fast vibrato or something like that. It just like blah, just like this messy G natural, making it sound old with isotope vinyl. Threw on some vinyl distortion. Changing like the timbre, like the tone of a synth to make it sound old. It's just a nice. So I would say the other big thing that's happening, little melodic fills that I kind of mentioned before. Some more chime. Skybreak. I think these are from their ice pack thing. Yeah, Snow Spell. That's this one. It's just like shifted it up 9 semitones, add some reverb, and called it a day. It does a lot. Yeah, those are doing a lot of work. And then there's 2 more that I added, that same pack, I think. Another Skybreak sample. Just nice, cool, color bassy sounds. Yeah, just such great material for like fills and stuff, and just working measure by measure. This thing where it like pitches up in the guitar. Yeah, and then letting that ring out. Yeah, these bells are actually, these are new in Biba phones, which is from Sound Iron. It's like a bunch of like glass tones and stuff. I highly recommend these for making wavetables, by the way. You get some really cool wavetables from this thing. Transient shaper, it's a little bit of OTT. I started using them a lot later on in the song. Yeah, some rides. Yep, more of those awaken hats. Alright, going into the next one.
I finally found somebody like you, yeah.
Yeah, so this like little short build. Oh yeah, I used the rhythm generator for this. Okay, so I don't have the track from this anymore either. Rotating rhythm generator that Ableton has. Basically, it's super cool because you can grab any synth that you have. It will start playing immediately, changing the notes to what you want. But when you start changing like the divisions, you can create really cool polyrhythms, and you can get these like really sick rhythms, and they just play it like that, like cyclically. It's just a cool Okay, yeah, so this is a new atmosphere that I added from Chime, from his Atoms to Pixels song with the morph, because without it, yeah, I just love auto filter so much. This is like a little ARP I made with the rotating rhythm generator again. I think I just threw a resonator on. That's it. There's really not a lot going on. I got this. Yeah, this looks kind of complicated. It's actually not. So I started with this. And then just repeated that like over and over like this. And then I repeated it again. I went an octave down. And then I just repeated it again, like that. That's it. And then all that I do after that is that I take the notes that were from here, and I just go up like that with harmonies, and then I just get rid of the notes that I don't want, and that's where you get this. Yeah, that's basically how I constructed the whole thing, and then I just duplicated it with this. Yeah, just everything like just one end, 2 end, 3 end, 4 end. That was what I was trying to do. And then we got these from the old idea that was like going into the 4 on the 4 drop. I think from here it was just like to taste. I was trying to figure out what worked.
Somebody like you, yeah.
Yeah, so everything that's happening here, it's all the instruments that we have talked about, except for a few for a few new ones. These chord saw ads that I have here, smack dab in the middle. But here, I'll change the color because I just needed some additional saws. It's interesting. It warmed it up in a really interesting way, but also kept the top end and added some depth to the mids. You can kind of hear it like actually modulating. So the bass is massive, actually, and serum, and cleans up. Okay. And that's it. It's just the square saw oscillator one's the only one on. Phase modulation, the Bronner tube, serum effects. Yeah, the distorted comb one with the low pass, but it's like 75% mix. So here, this is the cool thing about these filters, is that they add new like harmonic tones. Warmed up the top a little bit too at the same time, which was nice. And then I added the compressor in, distortion, thermal, more distortion. Yeah, this is where a lot of stuff's happening. Thermal's one of my favorite plugins. I started using this when I was using Trash 2 a lot because it was like an alternative to it, and I was like, oh, I want to see how it is. But super powerful, super powerful. It has a band split function in here. Basically change the setting for like each band, and you can get really precise with these different like distortion stages. Yeah, I just liked it. It was just like super nice buzzy thing. If you turn it off, you can hear the difference. We've got serum as a layer. I kept the sub on even though I cut it out. 2 triangle waves. One of them is an octave and a fifth above. Yeah, just compression, distortion again, and then sub. Multiband saturator. Same plugin from before. This is the one that's like really pushing it. Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of like a mess, but altogether. Some samples from before, the bass jam before that we talked about. Yeah, just different stuff, like, you know, just changing the actual clips in different ways. These vocal chops here, the vocal fills in between. Yeah, OTT, I'm using Melodies saturator here. Oh yeah, that's right. There's actually a big thing about this, and that is I'm actually like vocoding these. I finally found it. These saw wavetable chords into a morph layer on the vocals. I finally found it. I finally found it. Just loses so much energy. I finally found it. But when you have the I finally found it. I finally found it. It's just like those chords just sneaking in there. It's super nice. Vocal doubler. I finally found it. I finally found it. Yeah. I finally found it. These little glitch fills. It floats out and then it goes into like this transitional section that goes into the last part of the song. I finally found somebody like you, yeah. Yeah, so this whole part is like, it's technically kind of like it's like a bridge, like turnaround, I guess. There's this new impact now. It's like a virtual ride impact, just with some reverb. This noise thing that I made with the operator, it's just being pitch shift. It's just noise white. And I did like this like antiphonal chorus thing. It actually plays for a long time. Yeah, and then the bass here. This is from the beginning. I don't wanna let Except I decided to make a chord progression out of it. I mean, I'm really using a lot of stuff to get this done.
I finally found.
Yeah, just a lot of the same stuff that we've already seen. I would say the biggest difference is the arrangement stuff that I'm doing. Instead of doing like your like a traditional riser that goes into it, I decided to do like an actual pre-drop section where I kind of like subvert expectations by creating just a different part. You can kind of hear it because all the drums like rise, 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 and then I cut it and just let him keep singing.
I see the world and it's better now. You're the only thing that matters. You're the one I want. We're flying now. I finally found it. I finally found someone like you.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool that there was like a float before the exciting part that comes next. I just wanted I wanted to set everybody up for like a beautiful third melodic drop. All right, so before I go too far, so this pre-drop part, so it's the hook from before, like a little bit of this like glide thing going on here. Is there any pitch bend? No, there isn't. Doubled it with the noodly layer. Oh, that just yeah, and honestly, I just let everything ring out. I let all the reverb ring out, everything ring out, because I knew that when I got to this part, I was gonna hit a really big chord. You'll notice that the keytar actually drops out on the second half of the pre-drop, and it's just the beautiful plucks that take the same hook pattern, but they do it over the top so that the chords can play. So you'll see what I mean. Yeah, so it's like that. It's just me like messing around with the like the different relationship with it, but it's really noticeable when you add the chords. Because I think I tried it the other way. I tried having it like this. And I think it was just too much. Yeah, it just felt like too noisy. This glitch, it's just such a nice thing right before the drop hits. Like that's cool too, but I just like the idea of like messing up all of the sound like right before the hit. And I also made it kind of wide too. That just hits different. It's super nice. That's pretty much it. Everything else, these are actually the same exact chords from drop 1, if I'm not mistaken. So if I play drop 1. Yeah, same exact chords, but the biggest difference is that like the top part of that hook is being played da 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 da. That's kind of what's making it a little bit more fun. But the big thing that I mentioned before, these little reverse stacks are doing an insane amount of work. Having the reverse sounds right before it was super beneficial, because if I turn them all off, listen to how weak the drop is. I'm using all of the same material from before. I'm even using some of the layers that I had built out into the bridge for some of these fills. I'm also using a new little glitch fill here. This is from Splice. Yeah, it's Frozen thing. More Avalanche. This is where I bring in the Redux. Finally. Pretty, beautiful, colorful, spectrally based stab things from before. Something really cool that I did in the bass movement that I wanted to show. That was actually kind of like a risk that I took, and it's on when the phrase comes back. Yeah, this thing right here. I was thinking, oh, what I need to do to pitch shift this, like let it play out for a little bit longer and then pitch shift it. But it just stays on the same note and it doesn't sound like it's doing anything interesting with the I just like that everything sunk as the melody in the guitar was playing. And then I mirror the same movement in the guitar by having the guitar pitch shift afterwards. So everything's just kind of like cascading, like falling at different times. It's like do, do. Yeah, there's something really cool about that. Like when you're trying to create like movement and momentum with especially sustained material like chords. I think that was the biggest challenge of the drops, is like trying to figure out how to create movement in the different parts. And then I have some of the chords, you know, da 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 da, and some of them are holding out. You know, we do the auto pan again. Just kind of like creating variation, but yeah, here's how it goes into the outro. One more time, it hits that 4, that Sublab XL patch that I made before. If it should, guys. It's actually like quite the change, but it's from those chorus builds. Yeah, so it's the same thing, just sustained. I just liked it. I just thought it was like a nice thick bass. I finally found someone like you. I mean, you can't even tell. I ended up keeping it. There's so much going on in the top. And then we got the leads. Yeah, just playing the original hook from before, just over and over again, but instead, this time creating a polyrhythm out of it. Yeah, that's what's cool. It's kind of like a it's just like it doesn't reset in the measure is what I'm trying to say. It just keeps playing the same phrase over and over again regardless of the timing, which just makes it feel so cool. It makes it feel like it's not a part of the original while still being a part of the original. I don't know if that's a good way to say it, but I'm doing extra stuff. So I do this in a lot of songs actually. I will throw on like a phaser on the chord group and then move like the phaser mix, also controlling the reverb mix as well, filtering after it. I think I was doing, this is a mix down thing. I think I needed to control the gain on one of these bands. I can't remember. I think it's this one, because in the mastering stage it sounded too harsh. And then I have Firemaster again, just kind of enhancing this a little bit. And then I'm taking the entire stereo with like the whole synth group and making it mono. I'm just having everything die out into mono. You know, the atmosphere fading out. just like right on the downbeat. The only other thing was the noise layer. That chime sound again. And the wine glass, the reverse wine glass sound. That's pretty much the entire thing. I tried a lot of different ideas, a lot of different things, but this is the one that felt the most cohesive. It felt the best. Okay, I figured I would show the mastering before I took off. So I actually mastered the whole track out into here. This is the mastering rack here. This master is simple. Like admittedly my masters have been getting simpler and simpler, which I think is the way to go. Sometimes I take it into another project if I have to. Sometimes I don't. It really just depends on the song. Just soothe, 50% mix, taming stuff up here. Ozone 11 dynamics, yes. And I did that trick in your actual subgroup. You can basically create a ceiling for all your subs, and then the saturation on the group, tube saturation going into the master. But I was still limiting and compressing it quite a bit, and then doing it across the other bands. Yeah, just kind of doing it to taste. And then I have more multi-band saturation afterwards. I have it on best mode. It's actually not super aggressive. It's just like to enhance the track a little bit more, but I can show the difference here. So such an insane effect on the sound. And then I am pumping about 2 dB extra in. I think this was just to taste, honestly. Newfangled saturate on here in hard limit mode, so it's literally creating like a brick wall, like ceiling at the very, 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 very top of like the digital limit there, so nothing's going over 0. Anti-aliasing on, detail preservation at 100%. Pro L2, an insane amount of look ahead on all round, no gains being pushed into here. This is literally just to make sure that nothing's going over, with 8 times oversampling because I could, so I was like, why not? Let's turn up the heat. That's pretty much it. I'm not using this one right now. This was for something else, but that's pretty much it for the mastering chain. So yes, super hope you guys liked it. If there's anything I missed that you want to know about, or if there's anything that you have questions about, I'm more than happy to answer them. It's a super big track with a lot of moving parts, so yes, please ask away. Happy composing, guys. Onward. Alright everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you follow my channel and the other channels that I put in the description for more content.